go film a video. Hello, here we are again outside filming a brand new video, doing great for my social anxiety. I don't even have social anxiety, but I mean, if you tell me you can film in public without feeling freaking awkward, then, oh, I just got a text message, not very interesting, then I salute you, because it's not an easy thing to do. It's freaking awkward and you're basically talking to no one, but little do they know I am talking to all of you guys and I love you. Anyway, so ramble over. Welcome back to a brand new video. So, two things. I'm outside again because it's kind of sunny in London. It's kind of warm. Kind of, I say, like 19 degrees, but for the UK, I mean, that's banging. And secondly, because after I uploaded my Q&A, I got so many messages from you guys asking for a video about how I studied and how I got my grades for university. And obviously, university is coming up very, very soon. So maybe some of you are either going into your first year, like first university experience, or maybe even you're going into your third year and you really want to freaking nail university. And I don't want to leave out second year. Second year is like the best year. Anyway, it is the one thing that I do feel like I can talk about, because I really found my groove at university. I found my groove. I found a balance and it enabled me to get the grades I really wanted and kind of deserved for the amount of work that I put in. I'm gonna ad-lib and give you all my pro tips. Again, I'm a little bit scatty as a person and I only decided to film this literally 5 seconds ago. So these are just my ingrained thoughts and what I did. It's just what worked for me, and you know the whole spiel. I'm not telling you to do anything, but I am telling you that you should do these. So I'm gonna get into this video. Okay, so my tip number one, I actually think is probably the most important, and I think it is one that people kind of dismiss and overlook. Do not fall into the trap of first year doesn't count. Okay, many universities, the first year percentage grade, whatever, doesn't count to your overall grade. Mine actually counted 10%, so do look into it, because some unis, they do count. But a lot of people I know have fallen into the trap of being like, okay, it's first year, freshers, we just have fun and it doesn't count to my overall grades. It doesn't matter, at the end of the day, it's not going to affect my third year results. That is the worst thinking you can ever have, honestly. Because first year, even if it doesn't count, it kind of acts as the blueprint for the rest of your university degree. And one of my professors once told me that within an exam, the most obvious thing they can tell is somebody who has kept up with the reading throughout all the 3 years, and somebody who just literally says a theory, writes it down in the exam because they've just learned it. And he just said there was such a difference between somebody who knows the actual knowledge behind it and somebody who's just learned in their third year and spieling it out in a essay. So I think first year really acts as the grounding, the basis and the fundamentals that help you when you get into exams in third year. First year you learn the theory, the knowledge that helps you to convince the examiner that you know what you're talking about. You can have learnt Jane Wills in 1996 or whatever and cited your sites that you remembered rigorously through your revision, but it's only having kept up with reading through first and second year that you really have the basis of understanding behind your memory, so you can memorize things, spill it out on a paper. But what convinced the examiner to give you an A star rather than a C is the ability to convince them that you understand what you're talking about and know what you're talking about. And I really feel that you can only achieve that through paying attention in first and second year. Like, it sounds boring and it sounds like, yeah, but I want to enjoy freshers and blah, 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 blah. I'll get on to that point because you can do both. But do not fall into the trap of thinking first year doesn't matter and it's just a blowout. Are we still focused? Yeah, also sorry my hair's really greasy. But anyway, second point kind of relates to the first point because it's also about first year. You really have to also remember that university is a learning experience. It's not going to be perfect to begin with. Maybe you'll get homesick. Everybody's going through the same thing. Everybody else is new. Everybody's being lumped into a new situation, new people. It's freaking scary, okay? First year is scary. It is scary. Whoever you are, it is scary. But treat it as a learning experience. University isn't just about studying. No, it's about finding a balance, okay? It's about being able to learn and put yourself in a situation that is going to allow you to get the best grades you want, but it's also equally about having fun. But what I advise you use first year for is finding that balance, that like money-making ticket which allows you to juggle studying and having fun. Discover that sweet point. So I was consciously thinking, how many times a week can I go out with my friends before it affects my ability to hand in my coursework on time? So also, how many clubs can I join before it stretches me out too thin and I'm not dedicating enough time to my studies? You do discover this balance. So it might be that you went out freaking 5 times a week last week and you are just absolutely blooming knackered and you can't even, the last thing you want to think about is handing in your coursework or making it to a 9 AM lecture the next day. And then you say to yourself, did I really need to go out 5 times a week? No. Are my friends going to hate me if I don't go out every night of the week? No, they're not. They're really not. Okay, maybe you need to whittle it down to 2, and that's okay. I had to find a balance, which first year freshers we complete. You can write off freshers. Every night of the week, starting midday, you're going to be going out partying. There's no lectures, so that just get it all out your system. Freshers, meet everybody you want to know, blah 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 blah. Just get it all out your system. But then after that, I was going out like twice a week on a regular, and then making my exams, making my lectures, and getting my coursework in time. And that's just what worked for me. Some of my friends would just go out once a week, and some would go out like 7 times a week. Admittedly, maybe they didn't get a first. So that's what I'm trying to say, is you've got to find a balance in first year, because then you've got all that work out the way and you don't have to worry about that in second and third, and you can just focus on this sweet point that you've nailed and bang out the freaking grades in third year. I mean, first year, treat it as an experiment. My third tip also relates to tip number 2 and probably is the same as tip number 2, but as I said, I haven't planned this out, this thought just came into my head, is that third year is also an experiment in learning how to freaking look after yourself and learning to cook and learning to wash and learning to have responsibilities. Like, I know that I went to university and I was straight from school, I lived a very sheltered life, and I was chucked into this university experience, and suddenly I had to buy freaking toilet roll. When you're at home, that is just the one thing you do not think about. Like, it's just always there on tap. And also ironed clothes. At home, it's like, you don't think about it. Like, I went into my room and, oh, there, my mum had put away all my neatly ironed everything. FYI, my mum even irons tea towels, bed, but everyone irons bedding, right? Everyone irons bedding. Like, I even iron bedding because fresh sheets, perfect. But yeah, she'll iron socks if she's given permission. Like, my mother is, she's an angel. But anyway, you get to university and then suddenly wham bam in your face, these things, you realise you're supposed to do them yourself. And I really think that is the one great thing about university. There's a lot more literature and in the news about how you don't really need university anymore, and for many people and many occupations you don't, and apprentices are much better and whatever. But I still think the one thing that university will always have, which is really valuable, is it sets you up with those life lessons and life experiences which you don't learn anywhere else, because you're just literally chucked into the deep end. Okay, so tip number 4, we're gonna get on to how to study, and I'm gonna walk carefully here because I think telling somebody how to study is really subjective because there's so many different ways. I'm just gonna tell you what works for me and what allowed me to get a first class degree at university. And as I said in my Q&A, I did actually average 90%, and a lot of you were like, you shouldn't be embarrassed or whatever to say that, and you should be proud of it. And I am really proud of it, and I should probably say it more often, because a geography degree at a Russell Group uni is a good degree. Like, I need to be proud of it and embrace it. And this also applies to how I got A's at A-level as well. If you've watched my Why I Wake Up at 5 AM every morning, it's not a lie, it is a thing. And it first started for me when I was starting A-levels. It might have even been GCSEs. I was like, okay, how, see, that's the thing with doing it outside, that's so annoying. When I was in GCSEs or A-levels, well, basically school anyway, I was getting really annoyed because I wanted to put in all the hours to study. But then I also was like, but I want to go to the beach with my friends. Like, exams are always in summer, and I was such a perfectionist that I was like stopping myself from going out with my friends, and I was like, literally, this isn't fair, how can I do both? So I started waking up at like 5 AM, and then I'd do like 4 hours of revision, and then it was still the morning, and I was like, this is amazing, this is amazing. I can go out with my friends and not feel guilty about not having revised because I've already packed in 4 hours. And like, oh my god, it just felt revolutionary to me. And I'm always an early bird anyway, so I can hack getting up at 5 AM if it means I can study but also go out with my friends. And I could really enjoy my experience with my friends because I didn't have that constant like feeling guilty in my head, if you know what I mean. Like, I think there's nothing worse than going out with your friends when you haven't done any revision and it's constant dread in your head. You're like, oh my god, I haven't revised today, I haven't revised, and you can't enjoy yourself. But you can if you've done 4 hours already. So that is my tip number. Are we 5? I don't know, are we 5? Probably not, because why am I counting? Who really cares? And the tip number 5 or 6 or whatever, again, kind of relates to the studying theme again, and it's, don't leave everything to the last minute. Really don't. It is something I never ever do. So at school, I was really disciplined with myself. The day I got homework, that's the night you do it. Because then you don't have that horrid, dreaded feeling of I can't enjoy yourself because you've got that looming coursework or whatever that has to be done that you haven't done yet. And you always constantly have that like guilty feeling in your head, like, oh, I've got to do that, oh, I've got to do that, oh, I still haven't done that. Just get it done the first night, and oh, it's like a weight off your shoulder. It's done. And you have to be really disciplined with yourself, because it's easy to get home from a lecture and be like, oh, I'm so tired, let's just leave it to the weekend. At the weekend, you will be thanking yourself. You will be loving life. Like, literally just, it's like ripping the band-aid off. Do it now while everything is fresh in your head. Get it done, and then you don't have it looming over you. I don't know if anybody else feels this, but I literally hate the feeling of something looming over you, like constantly, the back of your head, like, oh my god, I've still got that coursework to do, I've still got. So yeah, my tip, and it's a really important tip, I think, just for like mental state and also getting into a good routine, because you do have to be disciplined with yourself. Don't leave things to the last minute. Don't do it. Don't. Just don't. Be disciplined, be fab, and freaking get those grades, you badass girl. I think this is going to be my last tip, but it kind of stems on from what I mentioned before, and it is to not, like, find the balance, don't take it too seriously. I know I'm going on about like exams and grades, and they are really important, but if you get yourself too stressed, you're not going to be able to cope with any situation that arises, and stress is really bad. Stress affects people in so many levels, so that's why I think you need to put these precautions in place and find yourself a balance that works for you, and don't cause yourself extra stress by being overly tired and whatnot. But then again, university is some of the best years of your life, and I can't tell you how fun it is. Okay, the first week, yeah, maybe it's scary, but if you have in your head that everybody else is in the same boat and in the same situation, you can kind of ease off a bit with the anxiety, because you just allow yourself to have fun and use that first year to discover how you can have fun as well as studying really hard, because university is about the experience. It is that one learning curve that teenagers go through, which teaches them for the rest of their lives. You can have it all if you find your balance. Find that sweet spot and you will nail university. And basically that is the end of that video. But I really hope these help, because I can't really give you any other advice than what worked for me. And please don't tally up how many times I said I got a first class degree, because too many times probably, and I feel really guilty because I'm not showing off or being cocky about it. Like, you guys just told me I should be accept it and shouted from the rooftops. But anyway, they are my tips, and let me know how you get on and what university you're going to, and if these tips work for you, because I would love to know. And also comment down below if you are going into first year or third year, because I would love to know, because I think these will help you out so much. So until next time, my homies, I don't know why I said homies, but I love you all.